Hey everybody. Hey Unseen, Blissful. And here's somebody new, or it appears to be new to my streams. Movie in a flannel shirt. You want to know what Steve's doing this weekend? Well, Steve's not doing a stream this weekend as far as I know, or doing any watch alongs or anything like that. He did something last night. Real quick little thing. I believe he talked about his Black Emmanuel set. So you should be able to see that on maybe on the Dead Pit channel. Um, so if you want to check that out. Um, but other than that, you guys and gals get me tonight. So unfortunately, but we do have 9 people in here. And we are going to be doing a watch along for Salem Blot tonight. Now, it's just part 1. We're going to do about an hour and a half, and then I'm going to cut it off and then start with the last hour and a half or hour and 33 minutes or whatever tomorrow night, starting at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we're going to get the party started with this here really soon. I'm going to give enough time for other people to get in here that may want to participate in the watch along. Okay, gotcha. I might just call you flannel shirt if that's okay. I usually, after a while, I usually try to shorten people's names up just to make it easier on me because I fumble over people's names sometimes. But you say you've watched me before. Just don't use it. Participate in the chat. We're so glad to have you in the chat tonight. You can, you're welcome to hang back and just watch the movies if you want, or watch the streams if you want, or feel free to come in here and chat if you want, as long as you feel comfortable. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. And thank you, Blissful. So I now have these dang watch alongs up to speed until the end of April 2024. So I'm going to try to read off these really quickly here. Um, just adjusting my camera a little bit. My hat, I've said before I love this hat, but for some reason, um, it gets crooked sometimes, and I guess I'm anal about that. I just don't like that. So, if you ever see me adjusting it, it's just because it's just bothering me because I can see it on camera. And it's probably going to have to come off here in a little while anyway because it's hot as hell back. Well, I don't know if it's that hot, but it's pretty dang hot back here right now. Um, Hey, Undead of Night. You say, hey, Dan, chat. Glad to see it is the good one and not the Rob Lowe version. Yep. Yeah. I didn't much care for the Rob Lowe version. I love Rob Lowe. Let's hope the new remake gets released this October. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that new remake just yet. I'd love to hear what other people's thoughts are on it. Okay. So let me go through these really quickly. Then I'm going to do the daily grindhouse and kind of Blissful has already seen one thing that I am getting because we were chatting a little earlier today and I sent her a picture of it. So Blissful, please bear with me as I show that. She may say, gee, Dana, you just showed me that a little earlier. But so tonight is part one of Salem's Lot. Tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, will be part two of Salem's Lot. August 12th will be what I consider a really fun slasher movie, bad acting and all, Tear on Tour. August 13th, Almost Famous. August 19th, Pet Cemetery, and that's original Pet Cemetery, by the way. August 20th, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. August 26th, Carrie. August 27th, Mystic Pizza, still planning on getting me that Mystic Pizza from Whole Foods so I can have a piece or two during the watch along. September 2nd, Phantasm. September 3rd, Stand By Me. September 9th, Body Bag. September 10th, Private School. September 16th, Children of the Corn. September 17th, The Breakfast Club. September 23rd, Cujo. September 24th, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. September 30th, I Spit on Your Grave. October 1st, Dead and Buried. And by the way, September 30th, watch out, guys, in particular, because this is going to be the 1978 exploitation classic. October 7th, Hell Night. October 8th, guys might want to watch out on that night too, because it's going to be Fatal Attraction. October 14th, House by the Cemetery. October 15th, Flashback starring Kiefer Sutherland and Dennis Hopper. October 21st, Dressed to Kill. October 22nd, Howard the Duck. October 28th will be the original 1978 classic directed by John Carpenter, Halloween. October 29th, Halloween H2O. November 4th, Rocky Horror Picture Show. November 5th, Forrest Gump. November 11th, the original Maniac starring Joe Spinell. November 12th, Blues Brothers. November 18th, Home Sweet Home. November 19th, Home for the Holidays. November 25th, Misery. November 26th, the Beatles themed I Want to Hold Your Hand. December 2nd, Psycho. Bring your tissues for December 3rd because it's going to be Mask starring Eric Stoltz and Cher. December 9th, Silver Bullet. December 10th, It's a Wonderful Life. December 16th, Silent Night, Deadly Night. December 17th, A Christmas Story. December 23rd, that weekend. I'm going to sneeze, guys, I think. Hold on. Excuse me. Because December 24th, that Sunday, will be Christmas Eve. And as many people will be celebrating with their families on December 24th. But December 23rd will be National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. December 30th, Bloody New Year. December 31st, Terror Train. And now we're moving into 2024. And there's Steve. Steve's making an appearance. Flannel shirt.
Flash shirt, Dana.
Flannel shirt.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my shirt.
Oh, Steve does have the Flash shirt on, but I was talking about the person that's in the chat here. January 6th, Blood Cult. January 7th, just one of the guys.
That's next year.
I know. I've got them planned out till April.
2029?
2024. January 13th, Intruder. January 14th, Porky's. January 20th, Lisa. January 21st, Pretty Woman. January 27th, The Nest. January 28th, The Wedding Singer. February 3rd, Reanimator. February 4th, Roadhouse, starring Patrick Swayze. February 10th, My Bloody Valentine. February 11th, My Girl. February 17th, Motel Hell. February 18th, Groundhog Day. February 24th, Film of the Mall, Eric's Revenge. February 25th, Play Misty for Me. March 2nd, Rabid. March 3rd, Dolores Claiborne. March 9th, Splatter University. March 10th, Revenge of the Nerds. March 16th, When a Stranger Calls. March 17th, A Hard Day's Night. That is the Beatles movie, by the way. March 23rd, Silence of the Lambs. March 24th, Grace of My Heart. March 30th, Stir of Echoes. March 31st, George Romero's Night Riders. April 6th, Magic, starring Anthony Hopkins. April 7th, Multiplicity. April 13th, Blood Diner. April 14th, E.T. April 20th, Chud. April 21st, The Initiation. April 27th, Karate Kid. And April 28th, Hide and Go Shriek. So we're all up and ready to go up until the end of April of 2024. And of course, Steve thinks I'm crazy, as you can clearly tell. Flannel shirt, you say everyone is getting ready for SummerSlam. Oh, well, we might not have as many people in here. I didn't even know that SummerSlam was going on now, flannel shirt. Hey, TJ. TJ says, nothing to say about the new remake. It ain't out yet. Well, I just mean like the idea of it. What does everybody think of the idea of it? And that's okay, flannel shirt. You say, I don't hate the Rob Lowe Salem's Lot. I don't hate it. I just don't love it. Blissful, that's what Grace of My Heart is one of my favorites too. I think Aliena Douglas, I'm probably massacring her name, is fantastic in it. Okay, so now that we got all that out of the way, and also I don't know how many of you guys are going to watch along tonight. I don't know how many of you currently own this. Now, I know that this came out on Blu-ray. This and Cat's Eye came out on Blu-ray recently. Well, maybe not recent, but in the last few years or so, they came out. And I had them put them back for me at Barnes & Noble and then went and picked them up. So I don't know how many of you actually have that copy of it, but excuse me, that is the complete miniseries on here. But you can also rent or buy it on YouTube, which is the link that I have. I had another link that I put on the promotional material for it and then figured out it was in Spanish. Now, that's okay if you're not going to be listening to the dialogue. But if you're going to be listening to the dialogue some, that's not really going to help you unless you're a Spanish-speaking person or you know Spanish. Okay. So I want to do the Daily Grindhouse, going to show some things that I'm going to be getting soon that I'm kind of excited about. that's going to kind of um, build up my brand a little bit more. I got the hat. Now I'm going to have some other things. And so I hope you guys enjoy as I show these things a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and kick off this daily grindhouse intro and go over a couple of things. And then we'll probably go ahead and get started with the watch along. Okay, so here we go. All right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen momentarily here. But I should have already had this up and ready, but I didn't. So, just bear with me here. So, yeah, let's just show this first. All right, so now I'm going to go back and share my screen here. All right. So, this is what I'm going to soon be getting. Hope you guys can see that. But this is part of my, I've got the pink hat with Evil Dead chick on it and the horror movie buttons and all that. And people seem to really, for the most part, people seem to really like that. Thank you, Unseen. And Blissful really loved it because I showed it to her a little bit earlier today. And Steve actually, I told Steve what I was looking for. And this is the one that he brought up and showed to me. I was like, that's it. That's exactly what I want. So it actually, you can get different colors too, but it's fleece. It's got button closure. The only thing it's hand wash only, but I'm probably not going to be wearing it that much unless I'm doing my live streams, right? So I don't expect it to get too dirty too often unless I drop some kind of food or something on it. So you can wear it over dresses. You can wear it over shirt and jeans. And it's one of those slim fit designs. I'm getting it in a large, because sometimes these things you get from Amazon, they're a little bit smaller than the size would lead you to believe. So, and this one got pretty good reviews. So I'm not going to show that too awfully long because you guys probably get bored of watching that. Flannel Shirt says that's sweet. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about Steve kind of helped me pick it out, yeah. Blizzard, you say I could get one, and instead of the pink ladies, we could be the dead ladies. Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. Then I need to get you on the Seductive Poison Resurgence podcast, Blissful, or get you on one of these other live streams with me. That would be awesome. So, Unseen, you need to kind of try to push her in that direction because it would be so cool if we both got our own jackets and all that stuff, and we could be the dead ladies. It'd be awesome. Yes, actually, that is one of the things I'm planning to do. Flannel Shirt. as well as I'm going to be getting a couple of patches. One is a larger one to put on the back of it because it's got a nice, hold on here. It's got a nice clean back on it, that back is just screaming for, a nice Deadites on deck patch, right? So, let me go back here. Uh, so I'm eventually going to get several buttons, but one of the patches I'm going to get is one of these particular patches, and I've customized it. It's the same, basically the same kind I got for the hat. Um, and So only it's gonna the lettering's gonna be pink, and you're probably thinking, well, isn't that gonna, kind of blend in and get drowned by the color of the color of your jacket? And yeah, it would, but actually the lettering, the font is gonna be pink. And the background on it is gonna be like my hat. It's a white background. Um But, so that I'm getting, and that's gonna have Evil Dead Chick in pink lettering, and that's gonna go on the front of the jacket. And then the other one is this, I got the 10 by 10 custom patch, and, what it's gonna have is it's gonna have, Deadites on deck in that. Basically, what I use when I do the font for watch along, when I make my thumbnails for the watch alongs, it's that kind of, it's called Another Danger, is the type of font it's called. And I'm going to have Deadites on deck in red in that font. And then the Evil Dead 2 skulls that were on the posters and the cover art and all that stuff are going to be, there's going to be two of those, one on each side. Um, and so something else that I'm going to be getting, go back here, is this pink shirt here, which is going to have my picture. It's that new picture I use on my thumbnails, is going to be here. And then when it's on the back, uh, I believe it's going to say Evil Dead Chick in purple on the back of it. So I thought when I got this in and I got the jacket in and I get the jacket the way I want it and all that stuff, then I will wear those two things together, on the streams. So, um, and I'm going on and getting this button. I'm going to get some more buttons actually, but this one says I love horror movies on it. You guys might not care about this, but I bet Blissful will like this. I found this I was looking for a new eyeshadow palette, and I just could not pass this up because this is a Spotlight eyeshadow palette, professional 40 color eyeshadow matte. It's shimmer makeup palette, highly pigmented, colorful powder, long lasting waterproof eyeshadow. So just look at all these colors and stuff. This is just fantastic. I just love it. And so that's another thing I'm getting. And I'm also getting this too. I'm hoping, what I'm hoping is that I can also use this stuff not only on the eyes, but on my face. Now, I doubt I can do as good as this chick did, but it's just, you see this stuff, and it's black light responsive. So I may have to get some UV lights because isn't that awesome? I mean, I just think that's awesome. I doubt very seriously that Steve would let me wear that out anywhere. Um, Even if I wanted to. Maybe if we went to a convention or something like that. But so actually I can show some of these buttons that I'm actually going to get a little bit later. Here's some. You know, we've got Evil Dead, we got Evil Dead 2, The Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we got Freddy, Dawn of the Dead, Hills Have Eyes, Return of the Living Dead, Friday 13. We've even got another one that says I love horror movies. There's another one that says I love horror movies. Halloween, Shining, you know, all kinds of stuff. Um, I don't know if y'all saw that or not. Oh, shoot. All right. Now you can see that, can't you? Hopefully. There we go. There's the buttons. Um, so those are some buttons I'm going to be getting later. Um, and this is another one I'm going to be getting soon. This is a Trick or Treat Studios Evil Dead 2 poster skull enamel pen. And there's another one that looks like the Necronomicon. I'm definitely going to be getting that one. And let's see. Here's something else. And no, I'm not like going to be getting. I don't know why it came up like that, but anyway. Um, these are some buttons I'm going to be getting, not so I can stare at myself, but I might put one on my jacket. But if there would be any of you that would want to get your own Evil Dead chick button with me on it, uh, then I'm getting several of these eventually. So, you know, if you want to, you know, throw a couple of bucks my way, I can send you a button, or I can add that as one of the bonus things for one of the tiers for the memberships and stuff like that. So, um, and let's see here. This is another pen I'm planning on getting. It says based on the novel by Stephen King. I just thought that that one was pretty cool. Uh, Here's yet another one here. There's the Rocky Horror Picture Show lips. One, you got to have that, right? Here's the Camp Crystal Lake one that I'm eventually going to get. Yeah, I think that's about it for show and tell here. So let's see, stop sharing. So that was basically show and tell with Dana again. Um, so I'm going to go through here and seeing you say I already emailed her. Blissful, you say he's trying. LOL. He's very convincing. Well, Blissful, if I can get on here like almost every day of the week, and pretty much it has been every day of the week because I do those early ones on Fridays now. Um, and you guys and gals know I don't look the greatest, and I'm sure Blissful looks a lot better than I do. Unseen could probably vouch for that. Um, so if I can get on here and do this stuff, then yeah, anybody can get on here and do this. And seeing you say I was like get the jacket, but she said she was going to, so no persuasion necessary. Now you just need to get her to come on these streams with me. That's what you say you love the font, and you say awesome design ideas. Well, thank you. Well, I just basically looking for another eyeshadow palette, X-ray, um, because I love eyeshadow. I don't wear a whole lot of makeup per se, mainly to cover up my blemishes and stuff. But I do love me some eyeshadow, so yeah, I wanted to do that. Let's see, I love that and no chunky glitter. No, we're gonna eventually get to watching Salem's Lot here in a little bit. X-ray. X-ray says this is a makeup show tonight, too homoerotic for me. Um, but I did want to ask y'all's opinion on something since we got 13 people in here right now. Um, you know, CK has been saying Dana needs to come up with like a schedule that shows her watch alongs. How would you guys like it if I had like a little teaser earlier in the week for the watch alongs that were going to be for the weekend? I mean, this is something that probably wouldn't take me that long to do. And it would be just a little extra reminder of what watch alongs I'm doing that weekend so that you could like plan ahead. If it's not something you're interested in, you say, maybe I'll join Dana next time. If it is, you can say, oh, yeah, she's doing those two this weekend. So I might want to get in on that. So just let me know in the chat what you think about that. X-ray, you say it would be funny if for Halloween you drew a pumpkin on Steve's butt. That would be awesome to show on YouTube, but I'm afraid it would probably get me kicked off of YouTube. Oh, I didn't know that, TJ. You say rip to Sharon Farrell, who played evil stepmom Doris in Night of the Comet. That's a shame. Blissful, you say glow in the dark is so much fun. I have nail polish that's glow in the dark. Ooh, cool. I love nail polish too. Uh, well, I'm sorry I took that off there so quick, X-ray, but I was afraid that that one word might upset and ruffle some feathers, as well as the other word. I don't know why, but I'm not trying to become sanitized on here. I just people get bent out of shape over the littlest things, and so I just try to be real careful. No, he lets me wear makeup. X-ray. He doesn't tell me what to do as far as makeup's concerned. In fact, Steve likes me to wear makeup, but that makeup that's all over your face, like, I don't know if you saw that earlier when I was showing that, where this chick had made like a skull on her face with that makeup, and that's what he wouldn't like. Regular makeup, no, he likes that stuff. Blizzard, you say, TJ, that was a great movie. I liked her in that role. I love Night of the Comma as well. Blissful says, X-Ray, Dana and I are trying to give Steve a glow up. I agree, X-Ray. You said Night of the Comet is classic. If there's one flaw in it, it's the lack of zombie battles. Needed the two sisters mowing down hordes of mutants. Thank you, Blissful. You say I love the pins. TJ, you say X-Ray, if they ever did a remake, I'm sure they'd up the zombie quotation. You're probably right, TJ. Thank you, Unseen. Unseen says that he likes pins. Blissful says so do I. X-Ray says, don't know who they can get to replace Kelly Maroney. She was my favorite in the movie she had in Moxie. X-Ray, I don't know. They may. I was just running through different pins and stuff, and that one just came to come up with Stephen King, so it's possible they might. Blissful, you say anything lip print is a necessity. Thanks, Undead. You say I like that based on the novel pen. Blissful, you say Spikel does wonders, LOL. Unseen says B doesn't like that stuff, LOL. And then he says, oh, damn. And Blissful says, gee, what don't I like? Eek. And then Unseen says, makeup. Blissful says, gee, I do just a nice sparkle base, LOL. Nothing wrong with sparkle base. Absolutely nothing. So before we get started with this watch along, for in case you forgot, it's Salem's Lot, or got in here late and wasn't for sure. But anyway, we're going to be doing the first half of Salem's Lot tonight. So I do have the link in the chat for you guys to. Anybody can join me live on the stream. Just like Joe Bob says, anybody can die at any time in a drive-in movie. Well, anybody can join at any point in time on live on the stream with me, as long as it's, barring it's not 30 seconds before the end of the movie, because, you won't get to be on here very long. Also, when you show that link there, and I do have it starred. Also, let me star the link for if you don't already have your own copy and you want to go buy and or rent it off of YouTube. There you go. There's a link. Oh, well, thank you, Undead. I'm not. You say you were great on Grande's Graveyard. Fit right in. Well, I hope so. I mean, I felt comfortable with those guys, and John's a great friend, and I was just pleased as punch that he asked me to be on his stream. I remember a time when I was basically the only other streams I was on was Dead Pits, which is great. I love those guys, but I never thought that anybody else would ever ask me to be on their streams. Well, the whole movie, without commercials is about 3 hours and 3 minutes long, TJ, or at least my version of Salem's Lot is. So we'll probably stop, or I'll try to stop right at about an hour and 30 minutes in. So I'm trying to think. That's probably going to be, if you're talking about Mike digging the grave and then he feels compelled to jump into the grave and then gets bit, and I think we will stop before that scene. I'm pretty sure that'll be in the second part. So So first of all, I want to uh, ask if anybody wants to join me live on the stream. If somebody comes in later and says, "Hey, I'd like to join in," then we can add them at that point in time. TJ, you say, yeah, that's about where that scene starts, 1:30ish. Okay, so it's going to be then I guess about right before the grave digging scene. So first I wanted to ask that, and then on my Blu-ray, because I'm watching it on the Blu-ray, I'm about 12 seconds in. It's fading into uh, this massive structure, um, where we're going to find out that Ben and his cohort uh, have kind of holed up for a while, because uh, I don't want to give too much away in case there are people in here that haven't seen it and this is their first time watch. But that's where I'm at. So hopefully, for those of you that are watching, you can get pretty close, queued up with where I'm at. Um, I'll give it. We'll just say we'll give it to 7:45, and then we'll go ahead and get this started. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, why don't you just do the whole watch along tonight for Salem's Lot instead of dividing it up? Well, I kind of thought about it, because I was like, well, it's 3 hours. But then I thought, that might be a little too much. It might be a little too much for me. It might be a little too much for everybody in the chat. Um, so I just decided to divide it up. So I hope that is okay with everybody. And I usually don't hear any complaints about how I do these, but I always like to ask, just to make sure. Um, and in the meantime, if any of you want to join, and you need me to put that link back in, actually, I can just go ahead and put that link back in. I'm probably aggravating you guys to death asking this every time, but again, it just makes things so much more fun if it's not just my tired old ass up here talking about the movie. That's right, DJ. You say, we know how people feel about TV show streams being too long. Haha. Yep, we sure do. So we got about a minute or so before we're going to get this started. And so um, speak now or forever hold your peace if you're not queued up and you want to watch this tonight. Um, I don't know show of hands, kind of how many people are going to be watching along tonight. Hopefully, one or two of you, maybe, out of this 12 people that are in here right now. So Blissful's saying, TJ, are you going on panel, please? Undead of Night, I think I'm at the screen just before the Guatemala text comes up on the bottom. So if that helps any, I hope that helps. I think that is true, X-Ray. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the case, but it unfortunately didn't happen. He says, is it true that this was supposed to lead to a Salem's Lot TV series? All right, guys and gals, it is now 7:45, so we're going to go ahead and get this party started. I'm going to do the 3, 2, 1. I'm going to press play and get this started. So 3, 2, 1, press play. So we're seeing Guatemala on here, and dang, I'm going to have to fix my subtitles again. It keeps wanting to put Japanese subtitles on here. I don't know why. So there we go. That's better. So we have Ben and Mark. Oh, so they're in a, I forgot, they were in a church in Guatemala, basically. I have a question though. Why is it when people are in a foreign country like this? I mean, maybe they haven't been on the run for very long, but they are filthy. Why is that? So Ben is seeing a glow in the holy water that they've just gotten, and he says they found us again, or another one has found us. Um, to which Mark says we got to go further, and he says not yet. So this is not how the theatrical cut started. The theatrical cut just gets right into the meat of the movie. You don't have this prologue at all. Um, but my only assumption, I did not see this. I wasn't, old enough to see it. Um, when it came out. My parents may have seen it. I want to say they probably did. But we've got David Soul on this movie, James Mason, Lance Kerwin, um, Bonnie Bedelia is in this, Lou Ayres, and they actually have a guest starring. I always find that amusing. George DeZundra, Ed Flanders, I mean, Clarissa Kay. Kenneth McMillan. Several of these people have been in other Stephen King adaptations. TJ says, Holy water thieves. Blissful, oh, you're making your tacos. Actually, we had some homemade tacos the other night. TJ, you say you don't have shower access when you're on the run, Dana. Sheesh, LOL. Well, I did kind of preface it by saying that, TJ. So this is basically where the theatrical version starts with Ben Mears coming to town. Um, and you would not have seen the 2 years earlier because you would have been like, what? What happened before this? Hey, David, we got another new person in here, or either that or somebody that this is their first time chat. But David says it takes a while to get to it, but when it does, it is one of the best vampire movies made. I agree, David. Totally agree. I just absolutely love the atmosphere of this film too. Um, just fantastic. Anybody that says Toby Hooper is not a great filmmaker, have them take a look at this movie. Oh, welcome, David. I'm glad to have you in here. And there's the great James Mason coming out of that spooky old house, the Marston house, as they call it. And Ben seems to be having a adverse reaction to the house, and we're going to find out more about it as the movie goes on. Also, for a pretty much a made for TV movie, I think this looks really good on the Blu-ray. Ah, that's great, Undead. I'm not. You said love the Marston House. Look, used it for my avatar. TJ, you're right. The first half is a slow burn, and then the second half beefs up the action the millenniums might not like that. Probably not, TJ. This would probably not be the movie for them. And I don't know about anybody else, but as soon as Ben gets into town, it just seems like something's a little bit off with Salem's Lot, with the town. Um, for instance, you just saw Mark Petrie there. He just looks he either looks like a kid that got caught with his hand in the cookie jar or something is really bothering him. It's almost like he has maybe a sixth sense or something, that he's feeling that something has just moved into Salem's Lot. Someone or something has just moved into Salem's Lot that is making him uneasy. And Ben Mears is obviously uneasy. And Ben Mears, of course, is the writer in the story. And I think David Soul does an excellent job in this movie. Some people might not be fans of David Soul. Um, then we get the introduction to Larry Crockett, who's basically the realtor in town. So Ben is actually asking about the Marston house. So Larry Crockett tells him it's been sold. But he tells him there's not really any places that you could buy or rent right now. But he says to go to Eva Miller's boarding house, and we're beginning to realize that Ben is from this area. He's familiar with Salem's Lot. And Dead of Night, you said the first time we see the stubborn Jeep door, exactly. I think James Mason is absolutely fantastic in this too, um, because James Mason has the ability to play a character where he's kind of ambiguous. You're thinking, is he going to be like this grandfatherly type? But there's something sinister about him too. There's a under layer, that everything's not as it seems with him, and we're going to find that out more and more as the movie goes on. Yeah, David, you said James Mason kind of seems a little out of place when he first shows up. Like that town is the last place you would expect to see an English gentleman. Exactly. And why would he want to come to this small town? You know, that's kind of odd too. TJ, you say you think Fright Night picked the house they did for Jerry Dandridge because of the Marston house? It's entirely possible, TJ. Or is that just your standard Gothic looking house? I would imagine that this movie was an influence or an inspiration or whatever you want to call it for some future vampire movies. I mean, we didn't have a house like this in like The Lost Boys, but and some other films, but those movies were a little bit different in some ways. There's Clarissa Kay there playing Eva Miller. I was thinking that too as we were watching this again, Undead of Night. You said the antique store seems like it may have inspired Needful Things. I've still actually got my 4K of Needful Things that I haven't started checking out yet. So even Miller thinks Ben is a stranger, and he says, "I'm not a stranger." So here is, I think Bonnie Bedelia is very attractive, even when she got older. Um, And she was in Needful Things, speaking of Needful Things, as was Ed Harris. I mean, there's a lot of people in that movie, or several people in that movie, that were in other Stephen King adaptations. But Bonnie Bedelia in this movie plays Susan Norton. I believe she's an art teacher, um, but she's reading one of Ben's books, Air Dancer. And he opens up the conversation by saying, you shouldn't leave a book, or that's no way to leave a book. And there's, right here, there's some subtle flirtation between the two of them that grows as the movie goes on, until eventually he will fall in love with Susan. And I think she falls in love with him as well. So she's an elementary school art teacher. I did see that cut of Needful Things, Undead of Night. You say more stuff from the book than was included in the movie. Exactly. I just love this playful back and forth they have, but it gets a little serious here because he talks about his wife dying. Of course, him and his wife did not have children together, and so he's a single guy, no kids, no other attachments basically other than his writing career. And he shows up, starts talking to this attractive woman. So we can only expect that they are going to get closer throughout the course of the film. There's James Mason looking very, very sinister again. TJ, you say, I guess Mason's playing two roles, right? Barlow in the book we see more of, and he's more than just a boogeyman. I guess he kind of is, TJ, the more I think about it. So we see again that Ben is very disturbed by not only the house, but by by James Mason. Um, he's breaking out in a sweat again. He looks visibly disturbed. And he's just got the feeling that, "Hey, oh my God, I've got to get out of here." David, you say, I'm going back over the vampire movies from my younger days in the 70s. Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Jack Palance played Dracula, and he was very good at it. Yeah, I would really like to see. I've seen like pictures of Jack Palance playing Dracula, but I don't think I've ever actually seen the movie where he played Dracula. So if you haven't already figured it out, Larry Crockett and his secretary are having a little fling. But his secretary is married, and her husband's not a very good guy. And she called Larry Crockett honey there. So we have the town drunks there who, nobody really pays attention, but the character of Weasel sees a lot of stuff. So Kenneth McMillan is playing the sheriff, and I think this might be the part that I thought was so funny, but that might be later. But he says that writer that moved in at Eva's, he kind of wants Weasel to figure out, some stuff about him. Like, can you keep an eye on him? And so Weasel keeps saying, well, what's he done? He keeps saying that. What's he done? And he says, murdered 18 people. Every one of them, an old man who kept asking, what's he done? I always found that so hilarious. And then it takes him a second. He realizes that the sheriff's pulling his leg. Hey, Daniel. You say Barlow vampire. You said the kid floating on the windows area. Yes, that scene and a scene we're going to see tomorrow night. I don't believe we're going to see it tonight. Uh, with Mike, the caretaker, who you see, the cemetery caretaker that you see there. David, you say it's been a few years since I've seen Salem's Lot. I like that name, Daniel. You say, hello, horror, havoc, hellraisers. So there's George DeZundra there, who I've seen play really good characters. I believe he played the doctor in the Ryan White story. I believe he played Dr. K in that. But he's not a good guy in this one. So she wants to have sex with her husband too, but she don't mind having a little side fun with Larry Crockett as well. So now Ben is, he's been invited to the Norton's house to have dinner. And I don't understand why, but Susan's mother, her father, who's the town doctor, really likes Ben. But I get the feeling that Susan's mother, Mrs. Norton, doesn't really much care for Ben. And there's one scene where, coming up later, where Susan says that her mother always liked Ned Tibbetts, who was Susan's boyfriend at one time, but she kind of wanted to cut it off with him. And I'm like, why in the hell? Ned Tibbetts is such an unsavory character, and we're going to see that as the movie moves along. Why her mother would not like Ben and would like Ned Tibbetts. So now Weasel's trying to find out, he's trying to see what Ben's been typing. And Eva is not very happy with him. But, the curiosity's getting the better of Eva, and even she is curious. Exactly, David. The kid floating in the window, the guy rocking in the rocking chair, the lady in the morgue, very eerie. I think probably the scariest scene for me is the guy in the rocking chair. And that's probably more than likely going to be tomorrow night when we get to that. So now Ben and Susan are going to go out on their own. They've had the obligatory dinner with the parents. So even Ben knows. He says, "Well, your father, maybe." And then she says, "My mother doesn't like anyone but Ned Tibbets." And she said, "Oh, just some guy that I have had been seeing." And he says, "Have or had been?" And she said, "Oh, a little bit of both." So Susan's a good girl, but or good lady, but I think she's at a point in time in her life where she doesn't really know what she wants. That's DJ. You said the mom was into him. I bet makes it sick that she wanted her daughter to get with the other dude. David, you said jumping on the coffin and opening it freaked me out. Yeah, that whole scene. There's several scenes that make people feel uneasy in this film, I think. So I think Susan is telling him that she went off to New York to try to have a career. Things didn't work out, so she kind of had to come back home, live with her parents again. Um, so they're getting a little more personal, and she's saying, "How long since your wife died?" And he said, "About 2 years." And then move on to what he's writing about. So he tells her he's writing about the Marston house. So she's telling him, he's like, "Where are we going?" She said, "Well, there's the Dell, the movies in Bangor, and then there's the lake." So where do you guys think they're going to go? Because he says, "Where do you want to go?" To which she pretty promptly answers, "Let's go to the lake." And you know what happens at the lake? Everybody knows what happens at the lake, right? So she's already decided she likes Ben. Oh, yeah, that's a good scene on Dead of Night. You said, "Without faith, the cross is only wood." Scene in the kitchen is my favorite scene. So something evidently very serious is going on between the two, and they're about to share their first kiss. TJ TJ says, "Go in the lake to bang her, banger." Oh man, but the movies were in Bangor, right, TJ? But I guess he could have took her to a drive-in. So I'm wondering, it's not, I don't think it's stated in the movie, but I wonder if Ben picked this room because he could see the Marston house out the window. Sorry, guys. Had to come off. Um, or if it was just coincidence that Eva set him up in this room. Hey, Brian. You say, I wanted to make sure I stopped in and said hello. We're glad you did, and you stay as long as you possibly can. So we're just about 30 minutes into the film, which will mean we'll have about another hour and a handful of minutes. About an hour and 4 minutes. So this so Larry is getting really nervous because he's afraid that she's going to say honey and mix company, I guess, and by accident. And this whole couple of scenes is so funny. Oh my gosh. Brian, you said the stream I was just watching via a restream just got porn bombed, so waiting for them to restart. Heck. Oh man. So this is where Straker, played by James Mason, is setting up a delivery or a pickup and a delivery rather. And Straker's saying need two men, but he says he has a very valuable sideboard, a Hepplewhite, to be picked up, or that's his story anyway. We're going to find out it's not a Hepplewhite. It's not a sideboard. So he wants the two men to put it down in the cellar. Um, and he says he won't be here or be there. He's got to drive to Boston. And then they're going to find four stout padlocks to the cellar door. Um, so he says they got to use all those padlocks. So I personally think it's kind of suspicious that he needs that many damn padlocks, but evidently Larry Crockett doesn't think anything of it because, Straker's paying him well. He's not going to ask any questions. So he's asking about Mr. Barlow, who is supposed to be Straker's business partner, who nobody has seen just yet, right? Um, so Straker keeps telling him, you'll meet Mr. Barlow very soon. So now we're moving in. We're going to see more about Mark Petrie. We're going to get a more proper introduction to his character. So the kids are doing a school play, and we're going to find out that Mark has written the school play. Um, I believe the same way that Ben did when Ben was a kid. So you can see that Ben knows the teacher there. And he says, Mr. Burke, and Mr. Burke doesn't recognize him at first. But when he says, his name, Mr. Burke's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you." And he basically says, "I wouldn't have become a writer if it wasn't for you." So Mr. Burke says, "Can we talk about it tonight? Because he's busy with the kids' play." Brian, you say, Evil Dead Chick, how's the weather? We've been very fortunate here. 71 today. Heard some places were over 100. Well, it didn't get over 100 here today. It was kind of warm and humid today, but not as bad as it has been. I think it was in the mid to upper 80s today. The humidity is what's the big thing, unfortunately. But I'm so looking forward to fall. But 71 sounds excellent for a temp. TJ, you say Stephen King doubling down on have two writers in the book. Ha ha. So there's Ned Tibbets. He's a plumber. And he's none too happy to see that Susan and Ben are spending time together. Brian, you say, yeah, humidity gets us too. Was only 20% humid today. That's not bad. So Susan is going to talk to Ned, hoping to get him, I guess, to leave her alone. And he's just like, man, talk about a male chauvinist pig. He's just like saying, get in. And he said, you said you love me. And she said, that was 100 years ago. I mean, I know she's overdoing it a little bit, but so now, this guy thinks because he took her out maybe one or two times that he has ownership over her. Please, come on. So she thinks that he's going, that Coley, her husband, is going to take care of something for Straker. But no, you're going to find out that he knows what's going on between his wife and Larry Crockett. And there was a little bit of foreshadowing there where Coley says, "You stay away from her now, you hear? Um, don't be relaxing too soon, Larry." And she says, "He's just kidding. Look, if he suspected anything, would he kid?" Yeah, well, we know Coley better than his own wife, I think. You can tell the sheriff doesn't like Coley very well. So even Coley says, "I don't know why anybody would want to open an antique shop here." Oh, well, thank you, Brian. You say, EDC, I love that you do these streams almost daily. Just wanted you to know I appreciate your dedication. I would share your channel, but you don't want the people here I normally hang around. Well, Brian, I mean, like, you know Unseen and you know Blissful, and they're good people. So I'm sure you know some other good people. Everybody isn't into drama. And I'm not trying to sound nasty or anything, but I've had to, block people before for causing problems. I mean, if somebody comes in here and they can behave, they're welcome to come back over and over. If they cause problems, you know, you know, I'm not going to kill anybody, but that will be all she wrote as far as coming in my streams, because I've said before, I'll say it again. I want these streams to be fun, and I want them to be fun for me. I want them to be fun for you guys. And if people are only in here just to start drama, then that's not fun for anybody. But yeah, if you want to share, my channel, and we'll just see how it goes with these people. If they're good like you and Unseen and Blissful, then heck, they're free to stay around for as long as they want to. So we find out that Cully is going to stay in the graveyard, like with his beer, and then he's eventually going to make it back to his house. But Ned and Mike are actually going to go and pick up this sideboard for Straker. Oh, really, Brian? You say, trust me, the people that attack me every single solitary day for over 5 years now, you don't want them. They have hundreds of accounts they attack with. Yeesh. Okay, maybe not, Brian. But I mean, you are welcome to come back anytime and, come back over and over, blissful and unseen. Um, so, yeah, I don't want anybody attacking me because I've had enough of that. Um, and Blissful knows exactly what I'm talking about because she and I have spoken about that. But you know, at this point, that's neither here nor there. I feel like I'm in a better place now as far as my channel, as far as my well being, and all that stuff. Brian, you say Blissful has seen some of them. She has seen maybe 1% of the drama I deal with. Otherwise, I would share your channel. I love it here. Well, thank you, Brian. And I love that you feel comfortable here. And that's what I want for everybody that comes in here. I don't want there to be drama. That's sometimes it's impossible to escape drama, but I try to keep the drama out of this channel as much as I can, which unfortunately includes blocking people sometimes. But um, and not to get into that whole dirty business again, but I took a little flack the last time I had to block somebody. And again, Blissful knows the whole story behind that. I'm not going to go into details, but um, and I think I have lost some people along the way that didn't approve of my choice. Um, but what can I do? I either do these for fun or I put up with nonsense. And I'm too old to put up with nonsense. I'm 47 years old, and I'm just not going to do it. Well, I know you do, Blissful. It was just some other people that unfortunately have not returned to my streams. Uh, once they, or that's just how I feel. There are certain people that once they figured out one particular person was blocked, um, they stopped coming to the streams. Now they may have quit coming to everybody's streams. I don't know. Um, one particular person is still liking my stuff on Facebook, so and they assured me they're not mad, but I'm just a worrier, and um it hurts me when I think that people are staying away because they didn't approve of my choices, or that they thought that I was like, over exaggerating the situation, and that hurts too. But again, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, back to the movie. Ned and Mike are on their way, or they may have already got the thing. I think they have. Blissful, you say they will know eventually, find out your reasons. I hope so, Blissful. Oh, thank you, Jason. Bless your heart. I gotta put that up there. Thank you so much for the 1999 super sticker. I appreciate that a whole lot. I'm getting really, surprised, by the continuing support I'm getting from people. Blissful thanks you too. I'm glad to see you in here, Jason. I know you said, that you don't get to come to a lot of these when I'm live, so I'm very very glad to see you in here tonight. Now check out this. I'm sorry, but I gotta laugh at this satin get up that Bonnie's got on here. I'm sorry. I don't know. I ain't been drinking. I ain't been, partaking of any enhancements, and you guys and gals probably know what I mean there. I just think it's funny, actually. If I'm high on anything, it's caffeine tonight. Yes, TJ, I am close to 600 subscribers, which is, I mean, I am, I'm dumbfounded, really, that that many people appreciate what I'm doing or find enjoyment in what I'm doing. Jason, you say, "Yep, get a regular day to be awake." Well, those are good when you can just have that normal day where you can just kind of chill a little bit. TJ, you said that's the disco 70s right there, huh? That's right. Um, and we're gonna when we see Larry, like she was mad because she said, "You better get over here, I'm waiting for you." Um, Larry's gonna turn out to have his own satin, like red boxer short type thing. So there's gonna be a whole lot of satin going on here shortly. Um, Blissful says, "TJ, I hadn't noticed. Awesome. Yeah, it's come it's the channel is coming along quite nicely, and you know, I would like to sound more humble, but I have to say is I'm so proud of myself because I did this on my own. And I'm not putting my husband down for, I don't think he's riding on the coattails of Dead Pit, but he does his streams under the Dead Pit channel, the Dead Pit banner. Um, and that's perfectly fine. You know, I've been told that I could do things under their channel too, which it's all fine. And I love coming on some of their streams and their watch alongs and stuff like that and supporting them. Um, but I wanted to do this on my own. Any success that I have with my channel, I wanted to do it on my own. I didn't want anybody looking at it and saying, well, she's streaming on Dead Pit's channel. And I don't think they think that about Steve, but me having my own channel that I kind of started building, I got to thinking, if I jump on there and do several streams under the Dead Pit banner, people are going to think, what is she trying to do here? And I didn't want that to get started. And also, like I said, I want to do it on my own. And also, I'm not saying that CK and Uncle Bill have like these very stringent rules or anything. Um, but everybody I think that has had a channel for a while kind of likes to do things their own way. And doing things my way may not be the direction that Deadpit wants to go. So I would just, rather keep it separate. So I'm pleased that people are enjoying the content and that people keep coming back. I get to feeling low on myself sometimes, and it's easy to sink into this mode where you think, oh, this channel's never going to do anything, yada, yada, yada. And that's that negative self talk that gets in there sometimes and starts telling you lies, basically, because I realize that there are several of you out there that are very dedicated and come to my channel quite often and support me um, in whatever I do. And so I'm so glad to have each and every one of you that just keep coming back. So, Jason, you say, I watch your videos during midnight shift. Your videos help the time go by a lot. Appreciate everything you put up. Well, thank you, Jason. Um, Thank you for being a supporter of this stuff. And I am so glad that this kind of helps you get through your day or your night, in that case, if you're working a midnight shift. Brian says, Jason, that was awesome of you. Thanks for donating. She deserves it. Well, thank you for saying so, Brian. Uh, oh. This is, I mean, even without, I appreciate anything anybody can give, because to be honest, this is not this money that I get when eventually YouTube decides to give me a payout, which will hopefully be not too much longer, thanks to you guys. But any money that I get is not going to go for like frivolous things for me, or buying me movies or anything like that. I plan to put at least a majority of the movie money. I'd say at least 95% of it, if not more, back into the channel. And of course, that will include, hopefully buying things that will make my setup better, you know. So, yeah, every little bit that you guys and gals give, and I'm not saying you have to all the time or anything, but just anything that you feel you can give, um, I will try my best to use it to make this channel better. Brian, you say, I wish I started streaming the stuff I loved to do years ago when I first got on YouTube. I'd be rich by now. I used to laugh at making money on YouTube. Yeah, well, I totally realize, and me and Uncle Bill have talked about this when he's been on, that you're not going to, chances are the majority of us are not going to be able to quit our 9 to 5 job and just do YouTubing for a living. That would be awesome. But I know that's probably not going to be a reality for me. Um, but I enjoy doing it. And as long as I enjoy doing these things, it's completely worth it to me. Hey, Russell. Brian, you said my channel used to make good money through ad revenue alone, but the community I was associated with them went to hell, so I stopped associating with them. Yeah, I think that's where you do tend to get a little extra money, Brian. I do agree. But unfortunately, I don't think I can get ad revenue just yet. I think, and this is not trying to say that I want people to subscribe so I can get 1,000 subscribers, but I think part of that monetization is I got a partial monetization at 500 subscribers, which means I didn't get the ad revenue. I will have to get 1,000 subscribers or more before I get the ad revenue. Just trying to be upfront about that. TJ says, "Man, does his bedroom look like a set or what?" Brian, you said one of my friends got so big he got his own Netflix show. Wow. What's his Netflix show, Brian? Oh, yes. Happy birthday, Russell, by the way. Almost forgot. Thanks to Blissful for reminding me. Okay, so now here's a creepy scene. This is probably one of the first really, really creepy scenes, and we're almost an hour in. Where Danny Glick and his brother um, are leaving Mark's house and going home. And why they decide to go through the woods, I mean, I know it was a shortcut, but yeah. So Danny says that he's getting out of there and kind of leaves his brother. And so we're going to discover that when the wind starts blowing like that, because there's going to be more than one scene that's like this, that something bad's going to happen, right? So what the heck was that? Well, we're going to find out that um, it probably wasn't Barlow at that point. I think that was Straker. Because, and here's why I think this, is because I think Barlow is in that big box there, or I think his coffin is in there. Brian, you say his YouTube is Jimmy DiResta. His Netflix show is Making Fun. I'm going to have to check both of those things out, Brian. Thank you. So Mike's freaked out. Ned's pretty freaked out. I think they're going to, yeah, they're going to get the hell out of Dodge here. So, Bliss, what you say, Danny's very talented. Well, I'm definitely going to have to check him out. Excuse me. We've still got Netflix right now, so I could definitely check out his show too. So, Mike says, just throw the padlocks and the keys down in the cellar. We're getting the hell out of here. Something freaky's going on here. He says, Mike says, just close the doors and let's get out of here. So there's Coley, and he's seeing Larry showing up at his door. And he's been drinking a lot of beer, so I got a funny feeling this is not going to end well. Ooh, damn. Coley's got his rifle, too. Rifles and beers, that doesn't mix. So, Mr. and Mrs. Glick are worried about their boys because they haven't shown up yet. So, there's Danny, and he looks a little worse for wear. Mrs. Glick is going out there to see what's wrong with her son. He seems to have passed out. I want to know where his brother Ralph is. He's like, I don't know. He's totally out of it. So they're going to get Dr. Norton. TJ, you say I watch food making shows. I'm crappy at do it yourself. LOL. Blissful, you say I love watching all of the creative channels. Eventually, I want to restore furniture and add my artwork to each piece. That would be awesome, Blissful. So now Ned and Mike have made it back to the cemetery. And for you dog lovers and animal lovers, something that's going to come up here soon that, he's looking for his dog Faithful. That's the dog that was doing all that barking a little earlier. So we know that something bad happened around the cemetery because that's where close to where the Glick boys were. So Striker's back at the house. Yeah, I thought that too, TJ. You say their mom is kind of old, ain't she? Yeah. I've seen several movies that are like that where the parents look rather old. I don't know if that's because this took place in the 70s or what. Um, so Straker seems, a little disturbed that the cellar door was left open. But he has got what appears to be a trash bag with something inside. We don't exactly know what it is just yet. TJ Blissell's telling you all you need is a hot glue gun. So, like I said, we're soon going to find out what is in this. And we find out that, oh, it's Ralphie Glick. Oh, I wonder why Straker wanted to kidnap poor Ralphie. Well, remember when I said I believed Barlow was in that big shipment that came in? I think he's leaving Ralphie for Barlow. Oh, so now we're back to Coley, and he hears his wife Bonnie fooling around with Larry, and he's not happy. There's those satin shorts there. Oh no, Coley just busted in there. And then Bonnie's a real shit here because, I know she's scared of him like beating her up, but she says that Larry broke in and was trying to rape her. Um, and so, Larry says, you don't want to go to jail, do you, Colleen? He said, oh, I'm not going to go to jail for killing the guy that raped my wife. And he's trying to say, she invited me and like, I mean, the guy's obviously crazy. I realize that, but um, I think Coley's not stupid though, right? So he knows that there was something going on between the two, and I think he knows his wife is lying. Oh goodness, so sorry, guys. And then he says, "Oh, I like your shorts." And he said, "Where'd you get them?" He says, "Boston." So this is a kind of tense scene here. And of course Larry's trying to talk his way out of it. So then he tells Larry to very easily grab the gun barrel. And if you were watching this for the first time around, you would wonder, oh my God, is he going to shoot him? What's going to happen here? And he's telling him to hold the gun up in front of his face. Thank you, Blissful. Uh, I think the air quality is still bad around here. Like I've said before, Louisville has bad air quality anyway, but since those wildfires in Canada and all that stuff, it's even worse. We have air quality alerts every few days, and then they last for several days. It's been like this for months now. So now he's saying, close your eyes, Larry. I'm telling you, this is a tense scene. And this doesn't even have anything to do with the vampires really right here. And so he he pulled the trigger and it just clicked. But oh no. Now that was obviously Barlow because you see the clawed hand come up. Oh, and we hear a loud smack. And then, of course, it goes to Susan and Ben at the lake. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be using the YouTube money. I don't think that would make people very happy, but I do need to invest in that dehumidifier. Okay, guys and gals, I am going to go away for just a second. I'm going to run to the restroom and get me an ice cream cone to eat. That's going to drive Unseen crazy. Me eating ice cream cones on here, but I'll be right back, guys and gals. So we got the scene with little Ralphie Glick. I got the tail end of it, and but that was a very creepy scene too. But I just wanted to say, look at this shit. Don't you hate it when you get these drumstick cones and like the whole bottom of the cone is broken off? I do. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. TJ, you say I like Bedelia better as John McClane's wife in the Die Hard flicks. Ah, yes. TJ, you say one of the best spooky ass scenes here. Why I hate big windows in the bedroom. Yeah, that's a good reason not to have big windows or not to live in a house or apartment that has big windows. Brian, you say the downfall with YouTube is all ad revenue, super chats, super stickers, super things, etc. YouTube keeps 40%. Exactly, Brian. I agree. And you don't get paid till you have at least $100 pending after their 40%. Yeah, exactly. TJ, you say, yeah, Brian. A majority of the YouTubers talk about that all the time. The window for making revenue is getting smaller and smaller, it seems. Wow, Brian, you say I got a 4.99 super chat one night, was all excited. Then it hit me. YouTube is keeping 200 of it. Yeah. Still happy, just sucked. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I realize that YouTube's going to take their cut regardless. But do they have to be so damn greedy? That's not, that's, it's almost punishing people for doing the hard work to get monetized and all that stuff when you do that kind of shit. That's right, TJ. You say no CGI, folks. Let's just, G is going to be tortured by the ice cream. LOL. Yeah, even this one that the bottom part of the cone is gone. Um, Brian, you say TJ. Yeah, it used to be 30% for super chats, but they changed it this past physical rollover. So anyway, hopefully you won't guys won't mind me eating this. So Dr. Norton is coming out all serious. The Glicks want to know how Danny is. And so he says, Danny hasn't had asthma, um, any history of rheumatic fever. So he's trying to cover all his bases. Um, and they're saying he's a healthy boy. He doesn't have any problems. Then they talk about TB skin patch, and then the mother freaks out. She thinks her son's got TB. And he's like, no, 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 no. We're just trying to find out. That's right, unseen. Ice cream. And this has got chocolate ice cream in there. Oh, man. And she says, stop holding it up, Dana. Grrr, I want some. Gonna buy some next time I go to the store so we can have an ice cream party. Uh, well, TJ, honestly, I do agree with that. That Patreon is a way to go. I suppose to really get any money. Not sure what they take for a cut, but I couldn't get anybody to join my Patreon. Maybe I wasn't offering enough good stuff or something. But I used to put my link to my Patreon up early on for the videos, and I couldn't. Nobody was, interested, or nobody was interested at that time. I think. Brian, you say, think about it. There's well over 10 million monetized channels on YouTube. Imagine that. Each channel makes $1 gross a day. How much YouTube gets? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Unseen says, "Oh boy, you're killing me." TJ, you said, I had one of those cones recently, but the cone itself had no real taste to it. Blah. The cones taste kind of not quite like a sugar cone, but almost like a sugar cone to me. So strawberries, Unseen's favorite, Blissful. Brian, you say, I tried Patreon. It sucked. I haven't enabled members yet because I haven't really been posting. So the sheriff is, questioning Straker now. And, he has suspicions on Straker concerning the Glick boys. And so, he's doing the sheriff thing and he's asking all these questions. And the sheriff wants to know where Barlow is. And, he's still on a buying trip, evidently, according to Straker. And I like this where he says Yowans. And Horse Straker has no earthly idea what Yowans is. And so he says, kids. And he says, we seem to have misplaced one. The misplaced one being Ralphie Glick. TJ, you say, yeah, Daniel, you're more stream oriented here. You can't offer things like early access to vids or things like that. Got to find your own group. Brian, you say, I thought for sure the shorts of my turtle eating a mouse and my roommate's lizards eating would get more reviews. There's my husband. What are you doing awake?
I ask you the same thing.
We're finishing up this watch along. Steve's shirtless now, everybody. He's he's flexing his pecs for everybody. Anyways, that's the way Steve does. He makes an appearance and then he goes away. Oops, drop that. I'm so clumsy, I swear. Who is that? Is that Darcy? Mm-hmm. Hey, Coco. You say I just tuned in and I know that drumstick be looking good. Unseen says Coco knows. Coco, really? You haven't seen this flick since around 98? I usually gotta watch it probably every few months. That's right, Bliss. We say Steve after hours. I'm gonna have to tell him that, Coco. You say, oh my god, he looked creepy walking in back there. He has scared the heck out of me before. Coming up behind me and I'm not paying any attention. All of a sudden his voice booms out. I'm like, shit, don't do that. Well, I could kind of believe that, Brian. You said, believe it or not, live streams are the least viewed video type on YouTube. TJ, just edit that part out later. Oh man. So now Ben's having a conversation with Dr. Norton. So Dr. Norton is basically a guy that wants to think of things in a medical way. And Ben, on the other hand, I think being a writer and being creative, he's kind of more open to there could be something supernatural going on here. Okay. And so he's given, but Dr. Norton has also given Ben kind of the fatherly lecture there. Um, he said basically says, "I like you, Ben," and that Susan's a good girl and she knows what she's doing, but hey, you guys were at the lake. Now everybody knows that you guys were at the lake, so you could have been a little more discreet. TJ said, "Yeah, Brian, I figure lives are for live, or maybe if you miss it, watch the next day. But repeat watches of lives, I'm not sure about." Oh Lord, Wes is in here. Brian, you say it is. I watch the overall analytics of YouTube and live streams. Get less than 40% of the views of regular uploads and less than 10% of the views that shorts get. Yeah, somebody said something about SummerSlam a little earlier. I ain't got time to keep up with all that wrestling stuff, Wes. DJ says she just found out, CK. So if everybody's watching SummerSlam, what in the hell are you doing in here? I mean, really. Now, this is a creepy shot, too. So Danny is letting his brother in, and he, seems kind of hypnotized. But these are some creepy ass scenes here. Who in mind this was on TV? Lisa says she's not a fan. Brian says, I stopped watching wrestling like 25 years ago. I mean, I still like some wrestling, but I just don't. I mean, if you're a fan, you're a fan, but I just honestly don't have time to keep up with all the different wrestling incarnations. So this is going to be a big scene here too. I think that's kind of scary too. The position that Danny was in there. So, guys and gals, we officially got less than 10 minutes left. We got about 8 more minutes left in this half of the watch along. Jason, you say in 2023, pro wrestling isn't what it once was. I agree with that. So, Straker's bringing his suit, or one of his suits, to the sheriff because basically he said the sheriff said that they found some black fabric where Ralphie Glick disappeared. So I kind of find it funny though that Straker is asking now if he's under some kind of suspicion. But he says, "Is it because I'm a stranger and the boy that disappeared and all that?" Ah, very good eye, TJ. I guess I never thought about that. TJ says, by the way, why was the Glick kid in PJs when he was taken by Straker? He had regular clothes on. Yeah, I don't think Straker or Barlow would have put him in jammies. So the sheriff's looking to, find any flaws in, that it looks like that the suit got caught in anything and fabric pull off. So you see Coley's done a number on his wife there, but they're leaving town. Hey, Sean. So I think that it's at this part that Ben is going to find out that Susan's going to be going out of town. So she's telling Ben she got a phone call this morning about a job in Boston, and they saw her portfolio, and she's like, "It'll only be for 2 days." So you can tell that Ben's a little uncomfortable with this. So she wants Ben to come with her, but he says Danny Glick's funeral's tomorrow. So, got about a couple more minutes. Danny Glick's funeral is occurring right now. So, they basically have one child still missing, one who has died. And they don't think that they're going to find Ralphie either. Which we know that too at this point because we know that Ralphie's turned. No, DJ's. What's with that monkey on the straw cup on the counter? So Marjorie Glick just passed out, which your first thinking would be, yeah, too much stress. Mm, I didn't think so, TJ, but my memory's not as good as it once was. Okay. So, guys and gals, we're going to stop it right there. Right before um, we see Mike taking care of his cemetery duties there. And we will start this back up tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at about an hour, 30 minutes, and 4 seconds. Okay. So we'll all try to, for those of us that are watching tomorrow night, we'll all try to get as synced up as we possibly can. Um, but I'm going to go and read. No, Jason, that's not a stupid question. I've actually wondered this myself, kind of a lot quite recently. But you say, will this get a UHD release at some point? I would like to see it get one because, I mean, the Blu ray looks decent. Um, some people, though, would probably say, it doesn't need a 4K. It doesn't need a 4K. But Salem's Lot being one of my favorite movies of all time. I would I would love to see what they could do with it. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this first half of Salem's Lot. And I hope that many of you guys and gals can, if not all of you, can join me for the second part tomorrow night. And that will be uh, finishing up the last half of Salem's Lot. And then Monday, I will be doing another Camp Cronenberg. And Tuesday, I just don't know at this point. I may come up with something um, to do that night. Wednesday, of course, barring anything happening, TJ and I will be back for another series of episodes. Um, Another 10 episodes of Friday 13th, the series, season 2. So you can look forward to that. Not sure about Thursday. Of course, Friday, it's been typical of me to do a uh, early afternoon stream after I get off from work. So you guys and gals can look forward to that. And also, you can look forward to the, or I hope you guys and gals will, the Terror on Tour watch along on Saturday, as well as Almost Famous on Sunday. Um, oops. TJ, you said, well, if they ever get that darn remake out, they might do a 4K of the original. Yeah, you're right about that. TJ says, start watching the next 8 shows now, Dana. Yeah, I really need to. Coco, you say, I'll tune into part 2, hopefully. I'm seriously going to the DQ right now, Dana. Thanks, Dana. Mm. Blissful, you say, Dana, great live. Well, thank you, Blissful. You said the tacos were too overstuffed, LOL. Honestly, I don't think you can ever overstuff tacos. So I'm sure you did fine on those. Night, Coco. Get something good at DQ, by the way. As if you wouldn't. But so about Almost Famous watch along, I'm definitely hoping that both Uncle Bill and CK will join me that night. Now, I did hear from Larry Thomas, who played the manager of the band on Terror on Tour, and unfortunately, he's going to be at a party where he's the uh, the master of ceremonies. Pretty much, at the party's basically for him. Um, so I can't expect him to miss that for my little watch along. So perhaps I can get him on here at a later date, and he can come on and talk about what it was like working on Terror on Tour. And also, I haven't heard back from the other people that I contacted, guys that were in the band, the names, and that actually played the band, the Clowns, in Terror on Tour. But, there's still time. So maybe I will hear back from them. But it's sure to be a fun time anyway, regardless of who we have in here or don't have in here. That's a good question, TJ, and maybe we could get some input on that tonight before I get off of here. Because TJ, you say, Dana, I'm wondering if people like the full breakdown of episodes, or would they prefer just a shorter overview of each episode? Because I'm open either way to do it. So, guys and gals, if you got any input on what TJ just said about, do you guys like the way we're doing the episode breakdowns now, or would you like us to do a shorter overview? Now, Blissful says she enjoys the full breakdown. So, Blissful's one for the full breakdown. Unseen agrees with Blissful. So, we got 2 people that enjoy those full breakdowns. I'm not sure TJ's just trying to get out of it. No, I'm kidding, TJ. I know he's wanting us to do what people like for us to do, and if we're going on too overly long with the episode breakdowns, we could tighten it up. Jason, you say your reviews of Friday 13th is actually very good. Wish more people talked about it. Okay, well, Jason sounds like he's on the same train as Blissful and Unseen. Brian, you say, okay, well, I'm going to go do something else, probably stare at the wall for another 12 hours. Thanks again. Well, thanks for stopping by, Brian. And I hope you get some rest, actually. And hope to see you back again soon. Blissful, you say you both give more information. It's really good. Okay, I appreciate that. TJ says, haha, no, I'm legit, yo. Oh, man. As we would have said back in the 80s or whatever, or TJ's too legit to quit. But, well, I think I've come close to wearing out my welcome. So, on all of that stuff, on that note, everything I said before and during the movie and after the movie and all that, with all that being said, oh, I did want to ask again before I get off here. Would you guys um, like me to do like a little teaser for the watch alongs each week? Like do it about, I could do it on Monday or I could do it the middle of the week or whatever. That just kind of gives a little teaser of the upcoming watch alongs, what movies we're going to be covering. So just let me know about that. And if nobody says anything in a minute or so, I'll go ahead and get off of here. But I would just like to have some input because you regulars that are in here, um, I like to, I like to hear from everybody, but people that are in here the majority of the time, I'd like to know, because I don't want people to be turned off or, you know, uh, not want to come back because things aren't structured properly. Bliss, what you say? I mean, sure, TJ refuses a smoking jacket, but everything else is great. TJ says, I'm poor, Blissful, LOL. Yeah, but TJ, Blissful offered to get you one, remember? There's a good idea. Blissful says, TJ, add it to your wish list. And maybe some of you answered me earlier and I might have missed it. And if I did, apologies there. Excuse me. So I'm going to give it about to 9:27. Then I'm going to call it quits for the night, I think. There you go, TJ. TJ says, maybe I'll make an Amazon one. I think CK has an Amazon wish list. I know he talks about it around his birthday. Well, thank you, Jason, for stopping by, and thank you again for the 1999 um, super sticker. I really appreciate it. And Jason, you're welcome back anytime. Let's we say, TJ, you set yourself up. I wonder what wish list you were thinking of. LOL. TJ, you say if you had time, you should do a vid with pictures of the posters of the movies you're going to do. That's a very good idea, TJ. I appreciate that. I was saying, because I don't want to put trailers on there because you never know how YouTube's going to, you know, feel about that. So the poster thing would be a great idea. So, with all that being said, it is 9:27 p.m. I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now, and I hope to see all of you back tomorrow night for the second and final half of Salem's Lot. Have a great night, guys. See you next time.